A significant breach at F5 has raised alarms in the cybersecurity community. This incident not only exposes sensitive source code but also highlights the ongoing threat posed by nation-state hackers. On October 15, 2025, F5, a U.S. cybersecurity firm, announced that unknown attackers had infiltrated its systems, stealing files that included source code for its BIG-IP product and details on undisclosed vulnerabilities. The breach was discovered on August 9, and F5 attributed the intrusion to a highly sophisticated nation-state actor, indicating that they had maintained long-term access to the network. The company delayed its public disclosure at the request of the U.S. Department of Justice. In this explainer, we'll delve into the details of the breach, the response from F5, and the implications for organizations using its products. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. On August 9, 2025, F5 first detected the breach, prompting an immediate investigation into the extent of the intrusion. The company quickly identified that the attackers had maintained long-term access to its network, indicating a sophisticated level of planning and execution. This led F5 to engage cybersecurity firms such as Google, Mandiant, and CrowdStrike to assist in containment and remediation efforts. Despite the severity of the breach, F5 reported that no unauthorized activity had been observed following their containment measures, suggesting some effectiveness in their response. However, the breach raised concerns about potential exploitation of the stolen source code and vulnerability information, particularly as the attackers, linked to a China Nexus espionage group, had access for at least a year. In the wake of the incident, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, issued an emergency directive, mandating federal agencies to inventory their F5 BIG-IP products and ensure that management interfaces were not exposed to the public internet. This directive underscored the urgency of the situation, as the exposed source code could allow attackers to develop targeted exploits against federal networks. The implications of this breach extend beyond immediate security concerns. Experts have noted that the stolen information could significantly accelerate the development of exploits for vulnerabilities that remain unpatched, increasing the risk for organizations relying on F5 products. In fact, F5's recent disclosures indicated a spike in vulnerability findings, with 45 vulnerabilities reported in just one quarter, compared to only 6 in the previous quarter, highlighting the company's race to patch the issues before they could be exploited maliciously. As organizations respond to this incident, they are encouraged to apply the latest updates and implement enhanced security measures to protect against potential threats stemming from this significant breach. The F5 breach has far-reaching implications for organizations that rely on its products, particularly given the sophistication of the attackers involved. With the exposure of the BIG-IP source code and details about undisclosed vulnerabilities, organizations face an increased risk of targeted attacks. The breach allows threat actors to conduct in-depth analysis of F5 software, potentially leading to the development of exploits that could compromise critical infrastructure. Organizations using F5 products are now under pressure to reassess their cybersecurity posture. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, has mandated that federal agencies inventory their F5 BIG-IP products and ensure that management interfaces are not publicly accessible. This directive emphasizes the urgency for organizations to apply the latest security updates and patches, which F5 is actively releasing in response to the breach. Moreover, the revelation that attackers maintained access to F5 systems for at least 12 months raises concerns about the potential for long-term exploitation. Organizations must also consider the possibility of collateral damage, as the breach could affect not just F5's direct customers, but also third-party vendors and partners that integrate F5 solutions into their own services. As F5 races to patch the vulnerabilities highlighted by the breach, the cybersecurity community is on high alert. The increase in disclosed vulnerabilities, from just 6 last quarter to 45 in the current quarter, indicates a frantic effort to secure their systems. This situation serves as a reminder for organizations to prioritize vulnerability management and to stay informed about emerging threats. In light of these developments, organizations are urged to enhance their security measures, including hardening public-facing devices and implementing robust monitoring systems. The incident underscores the importance of proactive threat intelligence and incident response strategies to mitigate the risks posed by sophisticated adversaries. Failure to act decisively could result in severe consequences, including financial loss, reputational damage, and regulatory scrutiny. In light of the recent breach at F5, affected parties must take immediate and strategic steps to mitigate potential risks. Organizations using Big IP products should prioritize applying the latest security updates released by F5 to protect against known vulnerabilities. This is essential not only for safeguarding their systems but also for ensuring compliance with directives issued by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. Furthermore, companies should conduct a thorough inventory of all F5 products in use, as mandated by CISA's emergency directive. This inventory should include detailed documentation of networked management interfaces to assess their exposure to the public internet. Organizations are also advised to disconnect any F5 devices that have reached their end-of-life support date, as these are particularly vulnerable to exploitation. In addition to these immediate actions, it is crucial for organizations to enhance their overall security posture. This includes implementing stronger access controls, monitoring network traffic for unusual activity, and employing advanced threat detection tools. Engaging cybersecurity firms like Mandiant and CrowdStrike, as F5 has done, can provide additional expertise and support in fortifying defenses. For those customers whose configuration or implementation information may have been compromised, direct communication from F5 will provide tailored recommendations. It is advisable for these organizations to assess their specific exposure and adjust their security protocols accordingly. Lastly, maintaining open lines of communication with industry peers and government agencies can facilitate the sharing of threat intelligence, enabling organizations to stay updated on emerging risks and best practices in response to this evolving situation. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.